Fiancée F31 said her ex is the love of her life. So I'm in a bit of a daze right now, to be honest. My fiancée F31 and I M33 got engaged in October last year and have been in a relationship for 5 years now. Everything has been great, and I can honestly say that I've never met anyone who comes close to her. She's been the love of my life for sure. I've known her most of my life. We grew up on the same street just round the corner from each other. Her mom and dad still stay in the same house, and I still stay in the same house I grew up in, which my mom left to me when she passed away in 2014. We still don't officially live together yet, but for all intents and purposes she lives here. Her parents and her are really close though, and she still has her bedroom there, and will occasionally spend the night there, but she's never away from here. Anyway, this morning I decided to go take a walk down to the shops to buy some things, and as I was about halfway down 15-minute walk I realized I had forgotten my face mask. Masks are mandatory here in shops since 10th of July. So I had to walk back and get mine. When I walked in the door to grab the mask from the kitchen table, I heard her speaking to someone loudly on the phone in the living room, and she said, "Yeah, but David will always be the love of my life." David is her ex-boyfriend. I don't know a great deal about him, but I know they were in a relationship for 2 years, and it ended a year before we started dating. He also dumped her. I just grabbed my mask and walked back out, and just as I got to the shops I felt weird, and I had to sit down as my mind was going in 1,000 different directions. I eventually got back home and immediately told her I feel sick and sent her back round to her parents' house, as I didn't want her about as I was ill. I'm now lying in my bed wondering what to do, to be honest. I know she didn't do anything wrong. It's not like she cheated on me or intentionally went out of her way to hurt me, but what's heard can't be unheard. She basically said that the person who she's agreed to marry isn't a patch on an ex she's not been with for 6 years. The fact she said he will always be the love of her life also means that it's a void game. Her heart's already been taken, and there's nothing I could ever do to change that. Also, what would happen if he did come back into her life? You can't turn down the love of your life when they come calling, and I'd be dumped quicker than yesterday's leftovers. So what do I do? Tell her I was earwigging on her and heard her say that just to end the relationship for a completely vague reason like, "Oh, it's not you, it's me," etc. Swallow my pride and pretend I didn't hear it. Everything has been wonderful, but there's no way on this earth I want to be someone's second choice, especially when her ex is the one on her mind that she obviously would be with if she could. I'm thinking about just saying it's not working between us. Story 2. My mom's 37F. Boyfriend 40M. Constantly has a problem with me, 16F. Basically what the title says. For some background info, my parents separated when I was 3, but they've always separated their issues with each other for my sake. I know my mom cheated on my papa, but he's never made her out to be the villain to me. They agreed that I'd be living with him with visitation to my mom's place. Both my parents have new partners. My papa, 38M. Married his boyfriend, 38M, when I was 8 years old, and I've always seen him as my dad too. They had my sister when I was 9. So she's 7 now, and our family is honestly great. Our dads love each other endlessly, so my sister and I have just grown up in a pretty loving and caring environment. I love my mom too, and like I said, my dad has never said anything bad about her to me or my sister. She didn't exactly settle down like my dad did, and she has had a lot of guys come and go. It was a little hard when I was younger and would get attached. I learned since then that I shouldn't be doing that. My mom's current boyfriend of about a year always has some kind of bone to pick with me. He's pretty clear that he doesn't like having me around or the fact that I get attention from mom when I'm around. My mom doesn't like hearing complaints about him, and she does say certain things about my dad. She's never liked the fact that I call my papa's husband dad. Her boyfriend also has a problem with the fact that I'm living with them when he doesn't even like me in the first place. I honestly don't know what he wants from me. It's getting hotter where I'm from, and I usually sleep in shorts and t-shirts. And he has a problem with me walking around like that, and it makes me uncomfortable. He also makes weird comments that insinuate that my dads would look at me like I'm not their daughter, and would essentially he also doesn't get why they're even married and raising children together. These kinds of comments are another thing that makes me uncomfortable. He's also mentioned things about my body like I'm showing off my figure and my boyfriend would be lucky. I don't know what to do. Would it be bad if I told my mom that I won't be coming over anymore as long as he's there? I don't know if I should tell my dads about them either. My dad, especially, is super protective of me and sister and would never let anything bad happen to either of us or my papa. I have no problem just living at home with my dads and sister until my mom can sort things out with her boyfriend, if she does. I just don't want to completely cut contact with my mom. Story 3. My dad is having an affair with someone who is my age. I am kind of reeling. My mom doesn't want to talk about it and just says I don't understand what it means to be married. Maybe I don't, but I really don't think this is right. My dad, 49M, and my mom, 47F, have been married 20 plus years. They have me, 21M, and my younger sibling. Don't want to get into siblings' age/gender, as they don't know anything about this. They're younger though. Sibling was diagnosed with cancer 8 years ago, and it was a big journey to make sure that sibling got through it. It took a big toll on the whole family. My mom gave up her job to look after sibling full time. It was over 2 years of back and forth. But we got lucky, sibling is thriving now. My dad has a high-powered job and always worked a lot, but he always made it home for dinner. But then about a year into siblings treatment, he started working late or going to golf club a night a week. Then over time it was 2 nights, and for the past few years it's been half the week. It was always sort of clear that siblings' illness didn't exactly bring our parents together. My mom got totally into that, and TBH, she wasn't always very present for me emotionally, but sibling was so unwell that I just kind of got it. She's been great ever since. I asked my mom a few years ago if she and dad were happy, and she said that marriage is more than just romance and rainbows, and that they had a life together. Which didn't really answer my question, or maybe it did. About a year ago, I finally twigged that my dad was having an affair and it had been going on for a while. Basically, I found a document that indicated that he rents a flat on the other side of town. There was just this moment when I realized, and my mom saw it kind of sink in, and she just shook her head and I didn't say anything. 2 days ago, I found out who his mistress was. It's a girl who was in my class at school. Izzy actually used to go out with my best friend from ages 14-16. My friend was distraught when she broke up with him. It seems like she did this because she had met my dad. He rented a flat and they've been having an affair for 5 years. I confronted my dad and he just told me that it was none of my business, that his relationship with my mother had evolved when sibling got sick, and that his sexual needs had upgraded and that Izzy can meet them in a way that my mother cannot. He said, and my mother confirmed, that he told my mom that he was planning to have an affair with Izzy before it started, and that ground rules were set so that Izzy couldn't come to our house, and that he would still be home X number of nights a week, and that no more than PSX would be spent on Izzy. My mother gave her permission, and that's been the situation ever since. My mother just said she didn't want to discuss it, and that relationships change over time. My dad said that he would go and stay in his flat for the rest of the week while I cooled off, but that he would come back on Monday, and that we wouldn't be talking about it again. I've been living at home during the pandemic as my university has been shut, and I haven't exactly got anywhere else to go. Plus, my mom doesn't want me to go. And sibling is still in school and doesn't know anything about this. I'm physically kind of nauseous about this whole thing, and I don't want anyone to know. My dad is just a total creep. I hadn't spoken to Izzy in a long time, but I remember her as really quiet and very clever. She is also very beautiful. Her parents had a very messy divorce during the last couple of years at school, and I remember her being very upset about it. I can't believe that she's put in 5 years of her life into this. My friend really loved her. He spent a good 2 years trying to win her back. I don't know what to do. I need a roof over my head, but I don't want to look at my dad's smug face again. I hate how my mother can't meet my eye. I feel like sibling knows something's up and I don't want to lie. It's like the house I thought was made of bricks was just made out of straw, but I don't know if I have spine to blow the whole thing down. Would we be better off? Internet people. Fresh perspective appreciated.